He thought he was doing everything right. He had worked on his appearance, hit the gym consistently, even invested in a sharp new wardrobe. On dates, he would try to impress with dinners he couldn't really afford, gestures he thought would sweep her off her feet. And when that didn't work, he pushed harder, leaning in, trying to touch her hand, looking for that spark he thought money, looks, or physical closeness would buy him. But time after time, the result was the same: polite smiles, lukewarm interest, and eventually silence. She didn't call back. She didn't stay curious. She simply moved on. This is the trap most men fall into. They believe attraction is something external: cash in your wallet, muscles on your frame, or the moment you finally touch her skin. And yes, those things may help. But here's the secret most men never discover. None of that creates the real addiction. None of that lingers in her mind when she goes home, replaying your words in the quiet of her room. Because the truth is this: women aren't turned on first by what you do with your body, but by what you can ignite in their minds. Attraction isn't about shoving desire in her face. It's about planting a seed, quietly, unexpectedly, right in the middle of a conversation. One phrase, spoken in the right tone, at the right time, can change everything. It can flip her emotional switch without you ever laying a hand on her. Think about that. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase, beg, or try to prove yourself. With the right words, you make her imagination run wild. You turn an ordinary moment into something charged, something she can't stop replaying. That's the difference between being just another guy and being the man she can't forget. And here's the part most men overlook. These aren't long speeches. They aren't pickup lines you memorize from a book. They are simple, subtle, psychological triggers, phrases so ordinary in appearance yet so powerful in effect that once you learn them, you'll never look at conversations the same way again. There are 3 simple phrases that can flip her mind, and once you know them, every conversation becomes foreplay. Every word you drop becomes a spark, and every pause you create becomes a moment where desire quietly takes over. So if you're tired of guessing what works, if you're ready to finally understand the psychology that women secretly respond to, lean in, because what you're about to discover will change the way you talk forever. But before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to Stoic Advice for Men, because here, we don't chase women. We master psychology, discipline, and attraction. Men are wired to react instantly. We see something attractive and desire sparks like fire on dry grass. Visual, immediate, undeniable. Women, however, live in a different rhythm. What stirs them most isn't the obvious or the direct. It's the space in between, the suggestion, the hint, the imagination you awaken without ever spelling it out. That's why so many men fail when they lean only on blunt compliments. "You're so sexy." "You look amazing." Words she's heard 100 times before. They might earn a polite smile, but they don't sink in. They don't leave a mark. Because what really pulls her in isn't the clarity of your words, but the mystery behind them. Think about it. When you say something suggestive, when you let her wonder what you really mean, her mind begins working against itself. She starts filling in the blanks, painting images far more vivid than anything you could have said outright. And that's the secret. Her imagination is your greatest ally. Because once her imagination takes over, she becomes the author of her own desire. And it's pointed directly at you. Picture this moment. You're sitting across from her, listening as she tells a lighthearted story about her friends. She's laughing, gesturing, completely relaxed. You're nodding, smiling, making eye contact. And then, with perfect timing, you slip in a single phrase. Not explicit, not desperate, but suggestive. In an instant, the tone shifts. The laughter catches in her throat. She stumbles on her next words. Suddenly, it's not just a casual conversation anymore. The air between you is charged. That's the hidden switch. It's not touched by money, looks, or even the brush of your hand. It's flipped by the way you master silence, the way you drop a line she didn't see coming, the way you hold her eyes just long enough to make her wonder. When you do this right, she's not just listening to you, she's chasing the thought of you. If this resonates, drop a comment below. Have you ever seen a woman freeze mid-sentence because of something subtle you said? Phrase 1. You're making it very hard for me to behave right now. Imagine this. You're sitting across from her on a simple date. Nothing extravagant, just a coffee shop, soft lighting, and the hum of conversations around you. She's animated, telling you about something that happened at work, or maybe a funny story about her friends. Her hands move as she speaks. Her laughter is easy, and the moment feels light, ordinary. You're relaxed, listening with genuine interest, smiling as she talks. And then, right in the middle of her sentence, you lean slightly forward. Let a slow half-smile spread across your face. Lower your voice just a notch and say, "You're making it very hard for me to behave right now." Instantly, the energy changes. She stops mid-word, her eyes widen for a split second, and then her cheeks begin to flush. That confident flow of words falters as she tries to gather herself. A nervous laugh escapes. Maybe she bites her lip or looks away for a moment. You've disrupted the rhythm, not in a rude way, but in a way that makes her acutely aware of herself, of you, and of the sudden tension between you. Why does this phrase work so powerfully? Because it strikes on 3 psychological levels at once. 1. It's unexpected. It breaks the rhythm. She's caught up in her story, thinking you're just another polite listener. Then you drop this line, and the entire dynamic flips. The ordinary is no longer ordinary. You've shifted her from casual comfort into charged awareness. 2. It's suggestive without being explicit. You didn't say what you're thinking or what exactly is difficult to behave about. You left it hanging, and in that space, her imagination takes control. And remember, her imagination will always be more powerful than anything you could describe directly. 3. It puts her at the center of power. You're revealing that she has an effect on you. She's not just another woman across the table. She's the one who makes you lose a little bit of that iron composure you carry. That makes her feel unique, powerful, desired in a way that disrupts your usual discipline. Now let's talk about delivery, because words are only half the game. The way you say it is what determines whether it lands or falls flat. Tone. Keep it calm, steady, just slightly lower than your normal voice. Eye contact. Don't break it. Hold her gaze like you're letting her in on a secret. Smile. Not a goofy grin, but a subtle smirk, like you know something she doesn't. Pause. After you say the line, let silence do the work. Don't rush to explain. Don't laugh nervously. Don't pile more words on top. That pause is where her mind spins. The temptation for most men is to ruin the moment by over-talking. They panic in the silence, so they add a clumsy explanation like, because you look so sexy right now. Wrong. That kills the magic. The power lies in what's unsaid, not what's said. Another mistake is saying it too quickly or without composure. If your voice wavers, if you break eye contact, or if you chuckle nervously, the line loses its weight. You have to embody calm control, even while you're suggesting you're losing it. That contrast, that tension, is what makes her hooked. Done right, this phrase can transform any casual moment into something charged, something unforgettable. It doesn't require expensive dinners, flashy moves, or desperate attempts to impress. It requires timing, restraint, and a willingness to let her imagination do the heavy lifting. So next time you're sitting across from her and she's lost in a story about her day, don't just nod politely. Wait for the perfect moment. Lean in slightly. Let your eyes lock with hers, and drop the line. "You're making it very hard for me to behave right now." Then watch. Watch her breath catch. Watch her cheeks color. Watch her struggle to keep talking while her mind races in directions you never spelled out. That's the art. That's the psychology. That's seduction without ever leaving your chair. If you're finding value here, hit the like button. It tells me to keep bringing you these psychological secrets most men will never learn. Phrase 2. I probably shouldn't say what I'm thinking right now. Picture this moment. She's leaning in, telling you something funny that happened with her friends. Her laughter is contagious, her energy light, her guard completely down. You're watching her, not just the words, but the way her eyes sparkle, the way she touches her hair when she laughs. You smile, not a full grin, but a subtle knowing curve of your lips. You hold her gaze for just a heartbeat longer than usual. And then, almost like you're talking to yourself, you murmur, "I probably shouldn't say what I'm thinking right now." The effect is instant. Her laugh fades mid-note, her eyes flicker with curiosity, and for a second she forgets the punchline she was about to deliver. In that single phrase, you've flipped the dynamic. She's no longer just sharing her story. Now she's locked on you, wondering, what's going through his mind? This line works because it creates what psychologists call an open loop. You've introduced something but refused to close it. Her brain hates that. It wants resolution. It wants the answer. And the more she wants it, the more she leans into you, chasing the thought you've deliberately withheld. But it's not just mystery. It's mystery wrapped in restraint. You're admitting you're thinking something, and the subtext is obvious. It's charged, likely something you shouldn't reveal. Yet you don't blurt it out. You don't lose control. You keep it contained, tucked safely behind calm composure. That's what makes it magnetic. Compare it to the man who says, "You're hot, predictable, flat." She's heard it countless times before and it costs you nothing to say it. But I probably shouldn't say what I'm thinking right now. That's dangerous. That's intriguing. It doesn't give her the answer. It forces her to imagine. And her imagination will always paint a picture far more powerful than your direct words ever could. This is where Stoicism aligns perfectly with attraction. The Stoics taught that mastery isn't revealed by indulgence, it's revealed by restraint. Any man can lose himself to impulse, but the man who feels desire yet controls it radiates a rare strength. And when you drop this phrase, that's exactly what you're signaling. You're hinting at the fire but refusing to let it burn uncontrolled. She senses the energy, but what hooks her is your discipline in holding it back. Now, how should you handle her response? Because make no mistake, she will respond. She might tilt her head and ask, "What are you thinking?" She might tease, trying to pull it out of you. The worst thing you can do is cave and explain yourself. Don't hand her the answer. Instead, lean into the mystery. Say with a smirk, "Exactly what I shouldn't be." Or simply hold her gaze and let silence do the talking. The less you give, the more she chases. This is the art of psychological seduction. It's not about showering her with lines, but about planting a single seed that grows in her imagination long after the moment has passed. Hours later, she'll still be replaying it. What was he thinking? What was he holding back? And every time she replays it, you're taking up more space in her mind. So remember, timing, tone, and restraint. Don't rush it. Don't force it. Let it slip out like it wasn't planned, like you couldn't help yourself. Say it softly, with a slow smile, and then stop. Let her wonder. Let her imagination spiral. That's where desire is born. Gentlemen, if you're enjoying this, share this video with a brother who needs to stop chasing and start mastering attraction. Phrase 3. You have no idea what you do to me. It usually happens in those playful moments. She's teasing you about something silly, maybe mocking the way you ordered your food, or laughing at a joke you made earlier. The energy is light, her guard is down, and she feels comfortable enough to push your buttons. Most men would just laugh along, deflect, or try to one-up her teasing. But instead, you lean back slightly, hold her eyes, lower your voice just a little, and say with calm intensity, "You have no idea what you do to me." Suddenly, the mood shifts. Her smile flickers, curiosity flashes in her eyes, and she leans in without even realizing it. The words land with a weight she didn't expect. For a moment, she forgets the joke. Because beneath your tone, she senses something deeper, something powerful, something dangerous. This line works because it balances two seemingly opposite forces, vulnerability and dominance. On one hand, you're confessing that she affects you. That's vulnerable. On the other, you're not begging for her attention or trying to flatter her. You're calmly admitting that her presence disrupts your composure, and that, gentlemen, is dominance. It tells her she holds a power she doesn't fully understand, and that thought alone is intoxicating. She begins to wonder, what exactly am I doing to him? How do I affect him in ways I don't even realize? Her imagination takes off, building scenarios, filling in blanks you deliberately left open. And every scenario makes her feel more connected, more desired, more hooked. The beauty of this phrase lies in anticipation. Most men spill everything immediately. "You're so hot," or "I want you so bad." It's blunt, predictable, and it satisfies too quickly. But anticipation, the suspense of what might be, always outshines the obvious. Neuroscience even proves this. Dopamine spikes not during the reward itself, but during the buildup. When you say, "You have no idea what you do to me," you're not giving her the reward, you're giving her the suspense, and suspense is addictive. But delivery is everything. This line has to feel like it slipped out naturally, almost unintentional. Your tone should be slow, steady, and slightly lower than normal, as if the words carried more weight than you intended to show. Let your eyes lock onto hers. Say the words softly, then let silence hang. Don't laugh nervously. Don't explain. Just let her feel it. That pause, that quiet space after the line, is where her imagination runs wild. She might laugh nervously, play with her hair, or ask, "Like what?" That's when you smirk, maybe shake your head slightly, and say nothing. The mystery is the message. And here's the lasting effect. This phrase plants itself in her subconscious. Hours later, when she's lying in bed replaying the night, those words echo. What was he feeling? What did I do to him? Each time she replays it, she digs the hook in deeper herself. You're not the one chasing her thoughts. She's chasing yours. That's the essence of psychological attraction. You don't have to touch her. You don't have to tell her everything. You only need to show restraint, drop the right words, and let her imagination carry the rest. Because women don't become addicted to the touch first. They become addicted to the way you make them feel without touching them at all. So next time she's teasing you, next time her laughter fills the air and you feel the moment is perfect, drop your voice and let it slip. You have no idea what you do to me. Then watch the silence work. Watch her curiosity spark. Watch her try to keep her cool while her mind races through possibilities. That's not just flirting, that's mastery. If this line blew your mind, subscribe now. Because Stoic advice for men is all about giving you the words, the mindset, and the discipline to stay unforgettable. Now that you've seen the three phrases in action, you can probably sense the pattern. None of them are explicit. None of them beg for attention. None of them sound like the tired compliments women hear every day. Instead, they all share three powerful ingredients: imagination, restraint, and composure. That is the real formula of attraction. Women don't become addicted to the man who throws everything on the table at once. They become addicted to the man who leaves just enough unsaid, who holds just enough back, that her imagination is forced to fill in the blanks. And her imagination, gentlemen, is far more erotic than anything you could describe directly. This is why restraint matters so much. Most men can't hold back. They feel desire, and they spill it out immediately, desperate to let her know. But when you exercise deliberate restraint, when you suggest without revealing, when you let silence do the heavy lifting, you show strength. You show that you are in control of yourself and that she is the rare exception who can make cracks in your composure. That's what makes her feel powerful. That's what makes her hooked. And this, believe it or not, is pure Stoicism in practice. The Stoics taught that the highest form of mastery is mastery over yourself. To remain calm in storms, disciplined under temptation, unshaken by impulses, that is the mark of a strong man. And when you bring that principle into the realm of attraction, it becomes devastatingly effective. Because women aren't drawn to chaos. They're drawn to the man who remains steady, the man who doesn't lose himself in the moment, the man who can stand in silence and still radiate power. Think back on those three lines. You're making it very hard for me to behave right now. I probably shouldn't say what I'm thinking right now. You have no idea what you do to me. Each one is built on suggestion, not desperation. Each one plants a seed in her mind and then steps back, letting her imagination grow it into something larger. And each one relies on your ability to stay composed, to hold eye contact, to embrace the pause rather than rush to fill it. That's why women get addicted, not to the words themselves, but to the calm confidence you embody when you deliver them. So the next time you're in conversation and you feel the moment rise, remember, it's not about giving more. It's about giving less, deliberately, artfully, with restraint. That's the hidden switch. That's the Stoic principle behind seduction. Drop the word heat in the comments if you've ever seen a woman stumble because of your calm confidence. At the end of the day, true attraction isn't bought with money, built on looks, or won through constant physical touch. Those things fade, they get replaced, and they rarely leave a lasting impression. What endures is psychology, discipline, and the subtle power of words delivered with perfect timing. One well-placed sentence can shift the entire mood of a conversation. One moment of restraint, paired with calm confidence, can make her imagination run wild long after you've left. That's the essence of what you've learned here. Attraction is not about doing more, it's about doing less, but with precision, with intent, with mastery. When you can sit across from her and hold yourself steady, when you can let silence work in your favor, when you can drop just the right phrase at just the right moment, you turn ordinary interactions into something charged, something unforgettable. You're no longer chasing her approval. You've become the man she remembers, the man she replays in her thoughts, the man she struggles to decode. This is the Stoic path to attraction. Restraint instead of desperation, composure instead of chaos, discipline instead of indulgence. It's not about being louder or trying harder. It's about embodying a strength so calm that she feels it even in your silence. So if you're ready to step into that version of yourself, the man who doesn't just attract but captivates, then this is your call to action. Subscribe to Stoic Advice for Men, because here, we don't just teach you how to talk to women. We teach you how to become the man women cannot forget. And don't stop there. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and comment your experiences below. Together, we build a brotherhood of men who master attraction through Stoicism and psychology. The journey doesn't end here. It begins with your next conversation.